Hello and good morning. Let's talk about week 8 and 9. We're just going to call it that for this week. Let's take a look here. EOC, we're going to do it in class tomorrow. Make sure you bring your laptop. I will have a few extra, but bring your laptop. Okay, let's take a look here. Every triangle is 180, so you're going to add up all your x's. 2, 3, 4 x's. You can put a 1 here if you want. And then 10 and 6 make 16 equals 180 degrees. You're going to get your calculator out, and you're going to do two things here. You're going to first subtract 16 and then divide by 4. And when you do, you get your answer. So clear it out. 180 minus the 16 divided by 4 equals 41. So x is 41. But if you're going to find all the angles, you got to plug them in. So this one is going to be 41 degrees. This one's going to be 41 plus 10 is going to be 51 degrees. And then this one is going to be 2 times 41 plus 6. So times 2 plus 6. I get 88 for this angle right here. And if you add that up, you should get 180 degrees. All right, let's move on. This one right here, every line is worth 180. So this line here is no different. So that's 180. You're going to subtract 120 and get 60. This angle 3 is also 60 because it's vertical. This big angle is 120 because it's vertical and supplementary. Superman. Okay? This angle here is 90 because of that box. You add this up and you get 150. So you subtract from 180 and you get 30 degrees. So that angle is 30 degrees and this angle is 30 degrees because they're vertical. This line is worth 180, so this has to be 150. And this one is vertical, so that one has to be 150. And that's how you do that. Remember, the box is equal to 90 degrees. Now, if this is 90 degrees, then each one of these is 90 degrees, which adds up to a whole circle, which is 360. You got vertical angles and supplementary. 90 plus 90 is 180. Again, tomorrow will be the EOC test in class. Let's take a look. Parallel and perpendicular. Are these parallel, or are they perpendicular, or neither? Well, to do that, you got to get y by itself. Now I'm going to switch this over here. And you're allowed to switch both sides. So draw a line, circle the y. You're going to subtract 7 and divide by 3. So I'm going to move this over here. So I'm going to get 3y is equal to 12x minus 7. I'm going to divide by 3. And when I do, I get 4x. So my slope is equal to 4 over 1. Now this slope is 4 over 1. So the lines are parallel. They have different y-intercepts and the same slope. So I'm going to say parallel. All right, put away your bell work. And by the way, all your bell work is going to be turned in this weekend. So bell work is due this weekend. And because the marking period's over Thursday, I'm going to give you till Saturday because I got to get my grades in. So let me think about this. Actually, I want to do the grades on Friday. So you have Thursday to turn this in. Make sure you do that. All right, let's go on. It says, and copy all of this down, write an equation that's parallel and perpendicular to that line. Okay, well, they want standard form, so that makes it a little harder. So you're going to use something called point slope. But before you do that, you got to get y by itself. So I'm going to switch these two sides and rewrite it. Because I like my y on the left side. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides and then divide by negative 3. So I'm going to get negative 3y is equal to 2x minus 1. I'm going to divide by negative 3, and my slope is right here. And that's all I want is the slope. So it's going to be y minus the second one, which is my y, is equal to my slope. Now they want perpendicular on this one, so let me think. Well, you got to take the negative 2 over 3, I like my negative at the top, and you got to flip change, or negative reciprocal. Well, when you change that, that becomes a plus, so you're going to get 3 over 2 when you flip it. It's going to be x minus 9. All right, now that's perpendicular, but they want you to solve this equation in standard form, so they want you to go further. So what I would do here is, and the easiest thing to do, is to get rid of this 2 by multiplying by 2. So this 2 cancels. So you're going to get 2y minus 8 is equal to 3x minus 27 when you distribute. 3 times 9. Now standard form, you got to move the x over here, and I'm going to move that 8 over there. So I'm going to get a plus 8, so that's going to be negative 19, I think it is. Check it. Now you got to change all your signs and you're done. So on this one right here, this becomes a positive, negative, and a positive. And that's called standard form. And that's what you need to do. Remember, perpendicular, you got to flip and change it. One more. To do parallel, okay, and by the way, this is geometry, okay? Okay, so to do parallel, what you want to do is use the same slope. So it's going to be the same thing. Y minus 4 is equal to, but the same slope is negative 2 over 3. And then x minus 9. And what you want to do, again, is get rid of that denominator, which in this case is a 3. So you're going to multiply by 3, and then the 3's cancel. And then you're going to distribute. So you're going to get 3y minus 12 is equal to negative 2x plus 18. Because a negative times a negative is a positive, you're going to move the x over here, which becomes a positive. So that's going to be 2x plus 3y. And when you move that negative 12, it becomes a plus 12, which gives you 30. And that's called standard form. And you are responsible for this. This is on the ELC. Remember, perpendicular, you got to flip it and change it. FC for perpendicular. Make sure you know that. All right, let's keep moving. Copy this one down. Okay, now this is called segment partition. And remember, I gave you a worksheet on these. These are a little bit harder, so look up here and listen. First thing I would do is graph it. Okay, so this one is over 3, and then up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put an A right here. This one is negative 2, but up 10. So that's 8, 9, 10. Okay, and now connect your line, and then square it off, make a right triangle. Remember this? And then you got to count the spaces. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this side right here is 5 spaces. This side is 2 spaces. Okay, now, they want you to go from A to B. Look at this. So you're going this way. So that makes it a little tricky. So it's a 1 to 4 ratio. Now, what you're going to do is add this up and get 5. So you're going to divide this into 5 pieces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And you're going to keep one of them. So there's your answer right there. All right, but we need to find it. So you're going to go ahead and add those up, like I said, and then you're going to take the first one, which is 1, and put 1 over 5. And you're going to multiply 1 over 5 times both of these. So 1 over 5 times 5, put a 1 under there, equals 1, because the 5's cancel. So you're going to go over 1 this way and up. So over 1 this way would be right here. So your answer, when you start from the origin, is going to be over 2, because you got to go over 2 and then up so many. And that's what we're going to find right now is the upside. So we're going to use the vertical line. So we're going to take 1/5 times 2 over 1, and that's going to be 2 over 5. So you're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, up 8 2/5. So this answer is 8 2/5, and that's how you do it. Now, you could change this to 42 over 5. It's the same thing because 8 times 5 is 40 plus 2. Make sure you understand segment partition. Now this one again is going from A to B. Sometimes it might go this way, which is B to A, and your answer would be somewhere over here. Okay? All right, so let's get off of that. All right, that takes care of segment partition. Make sure you know that. All right, try distance and midpoint. Now you were taught distance and midpoint. Remember, the distance formula looks like this. And your x's go here, and your y's go there. So work that out. So I'm going to put my x's here. So it's going to be -2 minus a -6. And then it's going to be 4 minus a -8. This becomes a plus. 6 minus 2 is 4. So that's going to be 4 squared. This becomes a plus. So that becomes 12 squared. So I get 16 plus 144, whatever that is. So I get my calculator. 144 plus 16. Press equals and then hit shift square root. And I get 12.6. Okay, make sure you bring your calculator tomorrow too, because I don't have any to get loan out. All right, let's talk about Pythagoreans Theorem. Okay, so draw this right triangle and put a squared plus b squared equals c squared and memorize that. Put a star by that, and that works for only right triangles. Okay, so on today's worksheet, they're going to give you something like this. 3, 4, 5, and they're going to say, is it a right triangle? That's the first type. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and work this out, and to do that, you're going to go ahead, color the box. Now you see how this one forms an L right here? See that L? That L represents the sides. That's your A and B. This one is your hypotenuse, which is C. Okay, always that way. Across from the box is the one that goes alone. So it doesn't matter which one's A or B. So 4 squared plus 3 squared, does that equal 5 squared? 16 plus 9, does that equal 25? The answer is yes. So since they're equal, put yes, it's a right triangle. Now, if they were not equal, so let's say you got 25 is equal to 10, that would be no, not a right triangle. Okay? So on today's worksheet, on this first part, take a look at it. All right, on the worksheet for today, you're going to go ahead and you see how this is an L. They want to know, is it a right triangle? So you're going to make this your A and your B. So you're going to say 6 squared plus 8 squared, does that equal 9 squared? 6 times 6 is 36 plus 64, does that equal 81? And the answer is no. This equals 100, and 100 is not equal to 81. So this one is no, not a right triangle, but I want to see the work. Okay, remember, the one that forms the L is your A and your B. All right, one more part here. This one right here, they're going to give you this, and they want you to find the missing side. Now, I'm not sure which one is the missing side here because they gave you the answers. So I'm going to say this one is the missing side. I'm going to say this one's the missing side. This one's the missing side. And what else? This one must be the missing side. Okay. So now, what you're going to do is color the box. And the one that makes the L is your A and your B. So you're going to say 4 squared plus 8 squared, does that equal x squared? And so what you're going to do is work this out. So you get 16 plus 64 is equal to x squared. X is equal to the square root of whatever that is. It looks like 80. And that's your answer. So you're going to press shift, square root of 80. So 80, shift, square root, I get 8.9. That's how you do today's worksheet. Okay? So remember, the ones that form the box, or the L, is your A and your B. So that's your X. This one's your X. This one's your X. And they all work the same way. All right, that's it. That's all we're doing today. Let's turn our attention now to MCR. All right, so right now we're on MCR. For those of you parents and students who are trying to figure out what I'm doing, there it is. All right, so let's move on. Elimination means you got to get, or substitution means you got to get one by itself. So I'm going to get this one by itself. So I'm going to get x equals, I'm going to move this to the other side, and I'm going to get 3y minus 6. I'm going to substitute in place of that x and work it out. So I get negative 4 times 3y minus 6 plus 9y is equal to 9. Draw your line, distribute. So I get negative 12y plus 24 plus 9y is equal to 9. I add this up, and it looks like a negative 3y. I'm going to move the 24 over here, so that gives me a negative 24. And when I subtract, I think I get a negative 15. Check it out on your calculator. I divide by negative 3, and when I do divide by negative, I get y equals a positive 5 because I have a double negative. So y is a positive 5. I plug it in here. 3 times 5 is 15 minus 6. And 15 minus 6 is going to be 9. And there it is. And that's called substitution. Now, to do elimination, watch what I'm going to do here. I have to make something cancel. So I'm going to go after the x's because they're opposites. One's a negative, one's a positive. To do that, I'm going to multiply by 4. When I multiply by 4, these are going to cancel. So the top one stays the same, but the bottom one changes. So I get a positive 4x, which is what I want, minus 12y is equal to a negative 24. 4 times 6. This cancels. When I add that up, let me think what I get. I get a negative 3y is equal to a negative 15, which is what I had before. And when I do that, I'm going to get a positive 5. And that's what I had before. And there it is right there. And then you pick whatever equation you want and you plug it back in. Okay? I happen to like the second one this time before I manipulated it. And I'm going to substitute for my y there. So I'm going to get x, 3 times 5 is 15, is equal to negative 6. I'm going to add 15 to both sides. And when I do, I get x is equal to 9, and I'm done. 9 and 5 is my answer, just like before. Okay? So today we're doing elimination, but it's a little bit harder. I want you to finish worksheet D. And if you get stuck, I want you to ask. Okay? There it is. Have a good morning.